Daniel Hayes had built his life on control, every deal calculated, every risk measured, every minute accounted for. As one of the youngest self-made millionaires in the state, his name carried weight, and his schedule was ruthless. That's why when he arrived at his ranch 3 hours earlier than planned, the silence felt wrong. The gravel crunched under his polished shoes as he stepped out of his sleek black car, eyes scanning the familiar land that usually brought him peace. But today, something felt off. The front gate was slightly open, swaying gently in the breeze. Daniel frowned. His security team never made mistakes. His heartbeat quickened as he walked briskly toward the house, a strange unease settling in his chest. As he approached the side yard near the barn, he suddenly heard laughter, soft, innocent, unmistakably his daughter's. He froze. His 4 little girls were supposed to be inside, under strict supervision. Moving cautiously, Daniel stepped around the corner, and what he saw made his breath catch so sharply it almost knocked him backward. There, on the grass, his daughters stood barefoot in a circle, their expensive dresses slightly dusty, their faces glowing with pure joy. In the center of them was the maid. The new maid. The one he had barely noticed when she was hired a week ago. She was kneeling on the ground, gently feeding handfuls of grain to a few chickens while the girls watched in fascination, giggling every time a bird pecked from her hand. For a moment, Daniel couldn't process it. His mind raced through possibilities. Had security failed? Had this woman taken his daughters outside without permission? Why were his daughters, who were raised in luxury, surrounded by rules, routines, and polished perfection, so happy? A strange dizziness hit him, and he instinctively grabbed onto the wooden fence to steady himself. This wasn't anger. It was something deeper. Something he couldn't name. The maid looked up, noticing him for the first time. Her expression shifted from calm to startled, and she immediately stood up, brushing off her apron. "Sir, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to," she began, her voice trembling slightly. But Daniel didn't respond. He couldn't. His eyes were locked on his daughters. They ran toward him instantly, their tiny feet kicking up dust, their laughter filling the air. "Daddy! Daddy! Look! The chickens eat from your hand," one of them exclaimed, grabbing his arm excitedly. Another clung to his leg, smiling wider than he had ever seen. Daniel blinked, stunned. When was the last time they had looked at him like that? Not with polite obedience. Not with quiet discipline. But with pure, unfiltered joy. He slowly crouched down, still trying to make sense of everything. You went outside?" he asked, his voice softer than usual. "Miss Anna said it's okay. She said we should feel the grass and feed the animals," one of the girls replied innocently. Daniel's gaze shifted back to the maid, Anna. She stood there, nervous but composed, clearly expecting to be scolded or fired on the spot. Instead, Daniel did something no one, not even himself, expected. He asked, quietly, "Why?" Anna hesitated, then answered honestly, "Because they've never experienced it, sir." The words hit him harder than any accusation ever could. Never experienced it. His daughters had never felt grass under their feet. Never fed animals. Never played freely outside. A wave of realization crashed over him. In his pursuit of perfection, he had given them everything except a childhood. His chest tightened as memories flooded back, strict schedules, private tutors, limited playtime, constant rules. He had convinced himself it was for their future. But standing there, watching their bright eyes and carefree laughter, he began to question everything. Without saying another word, Daniel slowly extended his hand toward the grain Anna had been holding earlier. The girls gasped in excitement. "Daddy's going to do it," they cheered. Anna carefully handed him a small handful, her eyes widening slightly in surprise. Daniel knelt awkwardly, his expensive suit pressing into the dirt, and held out his hand. A chicken approached cautiously, then pecked. He flinched at first, causing the girls to burst into laughter. And just like that, something shifted. A crack in the wall he had built around himself for years. He found himself, smiling. Not the practiced smile he used in business meetings, but a real one. Warm. Unfiltered. Alive. Time seemed to slow down as he stayed there, feeding chickens with his daughters, listening to their laughter, feeling the warmth of the sun on his face. For the first time in years, Daniel Hayes wasn't a millionaire. He was just a father. Later that evening, after the girls had been cleaned up and put to bed, Daniel stood alone on the porch, deep in thought. Anna approached cautiously, clearly unsure if she still had a job. "Sir, I understand if you think I overstepped," she began. "No," Daniel interrupted gently. "You didn't." He turned to look at her, his expression softer than she had ever seen. "You did what I should have done a long time ago." Anna said nothing, sensing this wasn't just about rules being broken, it was about something much bigger. Daniel took a deep breath. "From tomorrow, things will be different." And he meant it. Because sometimes, it takes a moment so unexpected, so simple, that it shakes you to your core, and forces you to see what truly matters. If this story touched your heart even a little, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because the next story might just change the way you see the world too.